Hello, I'm the Reverend Rosalind Taylor, and I facilitate the home church in Bridgewater. We're an independent congregation, Swedenborgian Church congregation, that has some members from the general church and some members of convention. And so we started in the early 2000s as part of a movement within the general church. People who wanted to take a fresh look at Swedenborgian theology and spiritual practice and worship practices. A group of us formed a study group that met for quite a while, but then in 2003 we decided to worship together every other Sunday. Sometimes we have a Lectio Divina based service. On the holidays we bring readings and music that are significant to us and share those. But whatever the format that we use, because we're a small group, we can really share beautifully how the divine is working in our lives and really get into some very deep discussions, very enlightening times. And we have an outreach on the first Saturday of the month, a brunch that's catered, outreach to the community with a speaker, either one of our group or other people that we invite in, which has just been a wonderful experience for many years now. Getting together for a meal and to learn together and to share together. In the nicer weather, we meet out here in a screened-in porch in the beautiful property of Beryl and Paul's here in Bridgewater. In the winter and the cooler weather, we meet inside here in the living room. We gather around the fireplace, and as you can see, we have our worship set up. The word is open from before the beginning of the service, and then we close it after everyone has left. There's a chime there for our music meditation time. The candles are always present as well. Home Church in Bridgewater meets here in the home of Paul and Beryl Simonetti. And this is their beautiful home, and these are the lovely people that have welcomed us into their home since 2003. We're very happy to be able to share just a little bit about who we are, our history, and where we meet. Very grateful for this time together. I'm hoping that you are really enjoying this virtual convention, and I wish blessings for everyone.
Welcome to LaPorte New Church in Northwest Indiana, not far from Chicago and Lake Michigan. This church society was established in 1849, and the church was built 10 years later in 1859. The church is now 161 years old, having served the Swedenborgian community the entire time. The sanctuary seats a cozy 100 people. Most Sunday services see around 20 members and friends. This inspiring Tiffany-style River of Life window was donated in 1916 by the Scott family. It was completely restored in 2007. Our church has been blessed with the loving service of these 4 dedicated ministers since 1992. Reverend Kit Billings offers communion. Our 90-plus-year-old Connie often gives the children's message, and Heidi faithfully teaches the Sunday schoolers, shown here at the year-end ceremony. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, worship services have been held online since March. The church board was happy to be able to have a face-to-face meeting in May. The church garden, created in memory of our dear Daisy Holly, is open to our community for the quiet enjoyment of God's beauty and peace. Manna House was created in 2002 after we purchased the building from the American Red Cross. This arts and crafts style home was built in the 1880s, our church being the third owner. Among other things, Manna House is used for board meetings, book study groups, retreats, rummage sales, and most recently an AA group. Youth Director Kurt Feckety with the Tweens have been holding their Splats weekend retreats at Manor House for several years. Kurt holds their final session in the fellowship hall, where the rest of the congregation also learns a thing or two. As a fundraiser each year, the church holds a rummage and bake sale during the city's Sunflower Fair Festival. These rummage sales help cover the expense of our building's upkeep. In recent years, we've repaired and repainted the exterior stucco. Another huge undertaking was the complete refacing of the interior of the sanctuary. Our church was honored to be able to help prepare for the 2019 convention at Valparaiso University, and to offer a visit to our church and garden and Manor House, and go to a LaPorte beach. We treasure the memories of having so many new church friends with us.
We're in the Portland New Church in Portland, Maine. This is Lorraine Kardash, current licensed pastor of the Portland Church. This building was constructed about the year 1900 as a parish hall. The church was to be built in the lot to the side of this building, but it never happened. It is a large lot, and we have been working the last few years on turning it into more of a garden and an area that's more useful with benches and trees. It is a work in progress. As you can see, there are no pews. It does look like a hall, but we do support ourselves for the building to dance groups and meditation groups, AA groups, musical groups. The acoustics are great here. We hold 3 services a month totally, and we did have 4, and hopefully we can get back to that in the near future. Thank you. Bye.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Reverend Corey. I'm with the Swedenborgian Community Online and the Church of the Good Shepherd. The Swedenborgian Community Online is an affirming interfaith community grounded in our mystical Christianity of Swedenborgianism. And we provide messages of all sorts, from sermons to book talks, discussions on our chat room, discussions via video and other platforms. We like to come together to uplift the spirit in whichever ways speak to those who connect with us. We provide weekly video messages and written messages. We interview people from our president, Jane Seibert, to Jim Lawrence and many others. And we love to uplift each other's voices. So you'll hear music from various Swedenborgians in our videos. You'll get to know people from across the country and across the world through our interactions. And we love to find ways to center on the Spirit, taking the time to reflect and connect with each other, but especially the divinity within and around us, taking that meditative moment to turn to the Lord in praise, in worshipful work, in reflective meditation, to ground our spirits and our hearts in the peace and love that allows us to go into the world and work justice on every level. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy this year's virtual convention. Find us anytime at swedenborgiancommunity.org, as well as on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and many other platforms. Bye.
Temenos is a Greek word for a sacred space set apart, a holy grove. Temenos, retreat and sanctuary, is where trees talk and people listen. We sit steadfastly between earth and heaven on 57 acres. We are a diverse community, and we graciously welcome all who journey here with us. At Temenos, individuals and groups come to refresh their being for an hour, a day, or a week. We offer a variety of programs that nourish the body, mind, and spirit. Sunday services are where the traditional mingles with the non-traditional in the ageless mysticism of love unfolding. We offer silent and guided meditations, drum circles, book studies, nature awareness classes, and walks. We even have what we call Wild Church, where once a month we come together and sit and contemplate among the trees. So come, lay down your burdens and connect with nature. We honor and embrace you in the knowledge that each one of you is important and essential. Each of your lives has great meaning. Each one of you is precious with a beautiful, inexhaustible beauty. May peace always be in your presence and guide you each day.
Tile-roofed and low, it meekly stands, the loving work of loving hands. So begins a poem about the Garden Church, the Chapel of the Trees, the San Francisco Swedenborgian Church, completed in 1895, now celebrating its 125th anniversary, a National Historic Landmark. In the Gilded Age of gold rush wealth, lavish mansions, prideful ostentation, and the corruption that material wealth often brings, this simple place of worship and quiet refuge for reflection was born of thrift, humility, and devotion to Swedenborg's teachings about living a life dedicated to the good, the true, and useful service to each other. Every detail of its design, materials, construction, and furnishings were thoughtfully chosen and hand-wrought by artisans inspired with a reverence for nature and simplicity to reflect true inner beauty from good intentions, care, diligence, and persistence through the trials of faith and enduring love. Truths that transcend a life, a place, a time in history. And so the entire church, garden, and ministry are full of Swedenborg's teachings, if one but has eyes to see and ears to hear, so that one may drink of the fount of truth in the Word and be fulfilled by the lessons the church was designed to teach. That spirit of devotion has been the pillar of strength for many ministers who served here through many varying times of economic challenge, social tumult, and abundant prosperity, reflecting the life of the city it serves. And when many were denied services by other ministries in a prejudiced society, this church opened itself to serving the spiritual needs of all people, and has for many decades, without regard to race, creed, gender, or sexual preference. Historic times, courageous devotion and love, all these make landmarks in life, and all these make a place that transcends time and space by being a beacon of Swedenborg's teachings of divine love and wisdom.
Hi, I'm Kurt Feckety, Youth Director for the Swedenborgian Church Youth League, or SCYL. Our Church Youth League was founded way back in 1888. It is an open and affirming group for teens to respect one another, learn about our theology, and honor each and every individual spiritual path. Teens in the SCYL gather for retreats, go to summer camps, and attend our annual convention. If you're a teen, I hope that you'll join us and see for yourself just how fun the SCYL is. Our big adventure last year was traveling to the International Summer Camp at Purley Chase in England, where we joined our friends in the British Conference. To close this SCYL ministry message, please enjoy this wonderful peek at our international adventure that was put together by Ivy Little. Cheers!
Hello, my name is Amanda Riley. I'm the co-pastor here of the Garden Church. We're on beautiful 6th Street in sunny downtown San Pedro on a Saturday in May, and let's go see our church. We'll head inside. Welcome to the Garden Church. We have been making church together on this property for 5 years. This month, the month of May 2020. This is our church outdoor sanctuary and communal garden. Every Sunday we invite people into this space at 3 p.m. for a worship time together. We set up camp chairs around this circle. The front of the garden, this circle, has some vegetables, including Swiss chard and many varieties of herbs. And towards the back of the garden, we grow primarily vegetables for harvesting to feed our community. Here at the Garden Church, we also have a nonprofit called Feed and Be Fed Urban Farm. Feed and Be Fed Urban Farm is a volunteer-run organization, no paid staff, and we work together to cultivate this land to grow food for our community.
So what is happening?
Oh, we are digging up potatoes.
Oh my goodness. Linda, what do we have here?
Well, these are the bags of produce that people have asked us to bring to them today. So here in this bag we have chard, carrots, kale, celery, and a mixture of herbs.
Let's hand out the food.
Four jars, in case you're not makes a full complement of 20.
Connie, say hi.
Hi.
Connie brought orange juice.
From oranges that Christian picked.
This is Peter, the president of Feed and Be Fed.
Hi everybody out there from the LAUSD Science Center in San Pedro. Feed and Be Fed is starting its partnership, physically starting its partnership with LAUSD by establishing 6 raised beds here at the Science Center. It is our intent to engage community volunteers from the local neighborhood in order to grow food, healthy organic produce. And this is the beginning. Very exciting time for anybody, but especially for gardeners and farmers.
And we unpack our tabernacle, which has our elements of worship, on this stump, which acts as our communion table in our worship space.
Welcome. I'm Reverend Betsy Kaufman, and I am the minister at the Urbana Swedenborgian Church, formerly known as the Church of the New Jerusalem.
And I'm Robin Ferryman, and I am studying to be a licensed pastor.
The trees that Robin and I are standing under were grafted from original trees planted by John Chapman, better known as Johnny Appleseed. The cornerstone of our church, Church of the New Jerusalem, which was laid in July 30th, 1880. I invite you in as we show you some of the highlights of the inside of our chapel.
So our beautiful rose window above, as you can see, has 12 paths that point towards the center, where the Alpha and the Omega.
Tracker organ that was originally in the Pittsburgh Swedenborgian Church. It was the first donated Carnegie organ.
Windows were donated by early settlers. This one here was donated by the Gwen family. This one here was for Milo G. Williams. He was the first president of the Urbana University. He also was somewhat of a botanist, and these white flowers are called trillium, and he actually discovered them. This window was also donated by an early settler, Miss Amelia Murdoch. The image of Madonna and Child are taken from Raphael's. Now this window was donated for John H. James. John H. James was an early settler here. He also donated the first 10 acres of land to Urbana University. Windows were donated by Francis Bailey's granddaughter in his memory. They represent the 7 candlesticks.
Today our services consist of a worship format with hymns and liturgy that's fairly simple, but instead of a sermon or message, we use a reading that we choose on Swedenborgian subjects, and we come to the front and have a circle where we do reading, sharing, and discussion.
Some of the other activities that we do here are during the summer. I actually lead the summer services. I'm also the wedding officiant for our wedding outreach. We have a weekly meditation group in the evenings that is led by a member, Sherry Rutledge. We also have a monthly study group of Heaven and Hell. We have an Archives and Research Committee. The church building is also home to a group of 12-step meetings.
Hello everybody, I'm Gordon Meyer, pastor of the Virginia Street Church, and I'm just coming into the church through Parish Hall entrance. Right to my left here is a little room that used to be an office and will soon be our new accessible bathroom. We received a grant from the Minnesota State Historical Society to build an accessible bathroom and an accessible entrance. This is Parish Hall. We like to meet here on Sundays after worship, but right now with the pandemic we aren't able to do that. You can see evidence of the construction that's going on here. We have 19 members and about 10 or so friends who are regular attendees and participants in our program. This is our new accessible entrance, or will be. And through here, this entrance right here is to the sanctuary, which was built in 1888. The architect was Cass Gilbert, who was a very well-known architect who designed the Supreme Court building in Washington, D.C. and the State Capitol building here in Minnesota. Most of what you see here is original, except for those windows in the back, and this organ, which was added in 1923, about the same time as Parish Hall was being built. I understand that the organist at the time ordered the parts and built this pipe organ by hand, and behind those decorative pipes is a two-tier room with regular organ pipes in it. You can can see the rest of the sanctuary here. If we look up, we see a bunch of cables. And those cables are there to keep the wall in. Part of our plan in doing this remodeling was to get rid of those cables, but that'll have to be another grant because we didn't have enough money. We have two classes that meet, one on Sunday morning, led by Reverend Eric Hoffman, Bible study, and one group that meets on Tuesday evenings to read Swedenborg. Well, that's a short tour of our church. If you're ever in St. Paul, please come and see us.
Welcome to Wayfarers Chapel in Rancho Palos Verdes, California. The chapel was completed in 1951 as a place for wayfarers to stop and give glory to God. The chapel and its grounds are a living parable. The harmony of glass, wood, and stone, combined with the beauty of the natural surroundings, symbolizes the integral relationship of our inner world of mind and spirit with God's universe. The open Bible on the altar signifies God's continuing presence with us. The candles symbolize the light of truth shining forth to guide our spiritual journey. The circle reminds us of the oneness of God, the ongoingness of life, and our striving toward wholeness. The glass enclosure lets us see the world of nature and at the same time allows us to experience the inner world of spirit. The walls shelter us from the everyday world, drawing our focus to the altar, opening our inner world to God's presence. The stone beneath our feet and the rock at our side are ancient building materials that represent God's truth on which faith is built. The triangle represents the threefold essence of God, creating, saving, and sustaining us on our life's journey. The trees surrounding us represent our lives as we strive to live and grow Godward. Just as trees need water, sunshine, and soil to grow, so do we need truth, love, and knowledge to nurture and sustain our growth. The lead ministers of the chapel have included Andre Diankanoff, Kenneth Knox, Franklin Blackmer, Robert Young, Harvey Toffel, Ernest Martin, Jay Coley, Susan Turley, Carl Yanecci, Theodore Levan, Marlene Laughlin, Jonathan Mitchell, and David Brown. The chapel invites you to pause for a moment on life's journey. Let the beauty of holiness restore your soul. May the harmony of sky and water, leaf and rock, nourish the creation and growth of your inner being as you fare through this life and on into the life beyond.